Hey, what's up? We recently surpassed 1,000 subscribers, and YouTube is once again reminding me that I need a channel trailer in order to get people engaged. So, let's have a proper introduction. My name is Jordan. I'm a corporate witch currently trying to escape from a demonic pact with an entity of pure greed. You may know me as the guy who will always come to Pathfinder's defense in exchange for a modicum of exposure on this platform. But if you didn't know, I've also spent the better part of the last 12 months making dozens of Pathfinder builds for characters ranging from a literal god among men to that one sus halfling over there. Which means I spend way more time than any person ever should pondering questions like, what the fuck is a barbarian? Why do rangers even exist? And why isn't the monk just a fighter subclass? Of course, all of these questions have historical, mechanical, and lore reasons that go back to before TTRPGs ever even existed. But I'm more interested in the juicy cross-section between that I feel a lot of players and GMs ignore. A place I like to call theme. And since you guys like to hear me ramble about my own opinions in 5 to 7 minute chunks, I thought I'd start a series where I talk a bit about how I personally think about the classes and how we can use some of these ideas to tell better stories and break out of the boxes we often find ourselves in. But before just diving right in, I think it's only fair to ask, what exactly is a class? If an ancestry is what you are and your background is where you came from, then it goes without saying that your class is what you can do. But I think that a lot of players and GMs interpret what you can do as what you have to do. If you're a ranger, then you're automatically the party's guide. If you're a barbarian, you must be useless in a conversation. Having a paladin and a rogue in a party is just asking for conflict, and a bunch of other examples. I think we miss out on a lot of fun and interesting moments when we get caught up in looking at characters from a bottom-up approach, where the mechanics define who they are, versus a top-down approach, where we remember that these characters were people before they got their skills. But before we get too deep into the philosophical ramifications of TTRPG rules, let's start with what we know about the classes for sure. First, classes are universal. No matter what ancestry you are, or where you're from, or even what plane of existence you live on, every player fits into one of these categories. As long as there are potions to brew, weapons to master, and spells to cast, there will be alchemists, fighters, and wizards to do the thing. And that leads into the second point. The classes are timeless. Sure, some specifics may depend on certain advancements, but as soon as guns get invented and new gods blossom into existence, there will be gunslingers and clerics to fill those new niches. And now let's talk about what classes definitely aren't. Your class isn't your personality. Your character's goals, perspective, and behavior all exist separate from what abilities they have. And lastly, literally the title of the video, your class is not your job. Your job, at least in most campaigns, is adventurer. Don't let your party, or worse your GM, talk you into taking legendary thievery on your rogue just because that's what rogues do. Your class is more like your disposition and potential rolled into one. For example, you can describe a monk as that really fast guy who knows martial arts, and you'd be accurate. But if we looked at the monk from a top-down perspective, we might say, a person with a natural affinity for discipline whose pursuit of bodily perfection has afforded them abilities both mundane and fantastical, such that they appear both incredible and mysterious to the casual observer. One of those is oozing with roleplay potential, and the other is just reading a character sheet. Not like every monk just goes to monk school and boom, they get flurry of blows. Sure, some may be self-taught, and there are temples and masters that can pass on these skills, but if the prospective student doesn't have the talents or determination and the body that can handle it, they'll probably never see level 1 monk. And this is how I think about all of the classes. What's the difference between a commoner with a temper and a level 1 barbarian? And make no mistake, every single person in an RPG that has a class level represents a paragon of some aspect of life. Whether that's a pursuit of knowledge, power, or simple survival, where a mere bandit or adept might perish, the rogue and sorcerer find themselves unlocking power within that wasn't possible before. Sure, from the player's perspective, it's just a matter of experience and dice rolls and choices, but in their world, adventurers are equal parts insane and amazing to behold. Oh, and we might as well talk about multi-classing too. Changing your class should be difficult. Imagine how hard in real life it would be to be both a professional athlete and an Ivy League professor and continue to do both at a decent level. And that's essentially what your fighter wizard multi-class is. Taking a dedication or a level in a new class should be among the hardest challenges your character has ever faced. Just as hard, if not harder, than becoming their initial class in the first place. Whether it was brought on by a life-altering event or simple luck of being born amazingly gifted, multi-classing has its own thematic elements and it probably deserves its own video too. But that's what I think a class is. I got at least one more of these in mind, but if I get around to all of the classes, that's up to you guys. Like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe if you're new, and comment below with what you think an RPG class really is. Oh, and this doesn't mean the build videos are ending. We've still got 5 open polls on the Patreon, 4 poll winners that still need videos, and a commission I really need to stop procrastinating on. So check out the Patreon to see what we're going to be up to for the next few months, and have a bit of a say in it as well. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and play more Pathfinder.